Say it. So
You have to say it, right.
okay, you is
Oh, I
cute.
forgot to show this on the show. I wanted to show this. This is my Beyonce shirt too. When I lived in Texas, it says Willie, Waylon, George, Beyonce. Because it's all like country
awesome.
stars.
Yeah, that's cute.
I was like, I forgot I wore it purposely.
Hey, community, here's what's brewing today.
Kelis versus Beyoncé.
Ask Yo Aunteas, you is cute.
And Jinkx versus Monet. So get your cups ready for Minoritea Report.
Hey, welcome to Minoritea Report. It is Auntie Kerel.
It's Auntie Dawon.
And it's Auntie Landon filling in for Auntie Jerrell today.
Hey, welcome back, boo.
Hey, thank you.
And we were just talking. I was like, you know what? This is a good opening. Hold on. We like, so what were you doing today? What you have? An appointment for what?
I had to get
An appointment for what?
Not salacious, so don't get all your panties in the
Can't you do that shit online though?
No, not New York, because in New York, they require driver's license that are being renewed within a certain time period or within certain years that you have to have a vision test. So I'm like, okay, well, I can do it online, but I still have to go somewhere to get this damn vision test. And girl, I got LASIK, so I'm like,
You know what? I'm glad they do that because half these bitches in New York can't drive, probably because they can't see.
but who's driving in New York? Like who's driving in New York? It's not. Well, I mean, there are people that clearly drive, but like, it's literally just a driver's license. So when you're outside of New York, you can do whatever you need to do. But anyway, so I had to get my my driver's license renewed. So I went online, and in New York, you can make appointments. And if anybody knows anything about the DMV, it's a mess. Kerel, you just had to
Yeah,
go
I got my PA license and was there for 3 hours. And still don't have it because now they said, well, since you just moved from Georgia to PA, we're going to actually have to mail it in the mail in 15 days. So here's a temporary. I'm like, fuck out of here. I was upset. I was like, just give me the damn real thing. Like, this is stupid. You clearly just printed this little temporary one out. It's the same thing.
Right. So my appointment was at 9:00 today. I call the Uber because it's a trek from where I am. So I call the Uber. The Uber picks me up. And then we're driving over there, and then as we pull up, he goes, "Oh, you're going to the DMV." I go, And he's like, "Well, be prepared to be there for a while." And he points, and I look across the street as the Uber is like pulling up, and there is a line of people this is 8:30, line of people. Now it's on the 3rd floor, down the stairs, out the door, and down the street. And I'm like, oh, damn. So I'm like,
on a Monday too.
Right. I'm like, I thought I'm doing something good. I'm showing up 30 minutes early for my appointment. But so I get my little like QR code out of my phone, and I'm like just walking up the street past all these people, and I get to the front door, and there's a person that's checking people in. And I go, I have a appointment at 9:00. And he goes, "Oh, sir, you can come this way." So I said, "Oh, thank you."
It's like, oh. She felt like she was at the club. She thought she was VIP.
Right, come on. Like, yeah, so it did feel cute. So I had to kind of just, excuse me, pardon me, pardon me. And then I got all the way up there, and what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to scan your QR code at like the little kiosk, and it spits out like a number. Well, those kiosks were shut down. So I ended up having to stand in line anyway, just to get a number. Like, they don't just give you a number. You have to go to a line, tell them what you're there for. They have to validate that you have all the stuff that you need for whoever else is going to be servicing you later. So I have to pull all my shit out. And then they check all my stuff, and they say, "Okay, here's your number. Go sit over there." I'm like, okay, well, what the hell was the appointment for?
That part.
I sit down. Right. So I sit down. It's just people everywhere, and they're just calling out the numbers. Maybe a half an hour Yeah, about a half an hour.
Okay.
And then I'm like, okay, well, am I sure I'm sitting in the right spot? Because she just said go over there. And I saw this chick and that person, this person who was in front of me in line already, you know, do their thing. So I'm like, you know, am I in the right place? They finally call my number. I go up to the chick. I'm like, hey, you know, pleasantries, and give her my stuff. And then she asked me to do the little eye chart thing. She asked me to read not the bottom line, but the very first line, the largest letters. like I had to haul my ass all the way out of the comforts of my own abode just for an eye test, and they're not even really testing the quality of my eyesight. I'm like, what is this? So then she tells me how much it is. It's like $80 or whatever, and I pay. And then she gives me exactly what you got, Kerel, which was a piece of paper.
Yeah.
And then gave me my original license back, and I'll get my actual license in like 2 weeks.
Okay. See,
Wow, all of that for a license in 2 weeks.
Girl.
Wow.
It's like, just mail me this shit from the get-go. Like, it's like, I'll mail you my eye chart, whatever you need me to do. It's like, But before I forget, this week of this episode is Miss Chardonnay's birthday. Hey, happy birthday, boo!
Happy birthday, sis.
That's why they gave you that top line. They said, "Oh, he about to get another year. We'll just give him the top line." They're like, bless his heart, boo. We'll give him the top line.
Leo season is in session.
Oh Lord Jesus! Woo. Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward. It's not. I mean, it's 46 this year, so I'm super excited about that. Question to you all: have you ever had any issues with like age or getting older, like with any of the milestones, like 25, 30, 35?
Not really. No. Like, age was never really something that was like stressed in our household. Like, and, you know, coming from a pastor household, they're like, I'm just glad to see another day. I'm just blessed to see another day. But so age never really was harped upon. So I don't think I ever got that, oh shit, I'm getting old kind of thing. I mean, you feel it here and there, like, oh damn, like I'm how old? Then your perception of what you thought that age was, and then when you hit it, you're like, okay, it's not what I thought it was going to be at all. I still feel like I'm 17 for the most part, most days. But so no, you,
Landy or
Me?
Landon?
Landy?
No. When I would say at 25, I definitely had a life event. It was working at Chase. I got laid off, the whole kid thing. And then when I was 30, I don't want to get into it.
Well, the community doesn't know.
Right, the community don't know at all.
They're like,
Wait, bro.
We ain't got time. We ain't got time for it today.
Oh no,
we ain't got time. Okay.
But Landon is a daddy for real.
that part.
And so, but at 30,
She just like slid that in, like
She
she's talking
did.
to us. Like she's talking to us, not realizing that there's a whole bunch of people out there that are like,
whole community.
The whole community like, wait, hold on. All these times Landon been on here ain't said nothing about no damn kid.
You see all these gray? You see all this gray? That's because of these this kid. Okay.
Look, they're gonna start calling you Uncle Landon, not Auntie.
They already do.
Double roles.
Right.
Yeah. I've never felt my age. I've had life events, like maybe like a month after I turned 30, I was in this really bad car accident, like Crash. You remember that movie? That scene was literally in front of my church that I grew up in. Everybody saw it. So that was a little life changing in a way, but I'm the youngest out of 4, so I always feel young against these other hoes. My siblings are. So
What about you, Dawon?
No, I love getting older.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. I've always loved it. I've always had this thing about like, I wanted to be older. Like I remember when I was in high school, I was like, "Ooh, I can't wait to have a job and pay bills."
Oh,
and it's such a weird thing. But I think what it symbolized for me was independence.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
when you have your own job and you're paying your own bills and you have your own place, and you have your own car, and you know what I mean? Like, can't nobody tell you nothing. And when you're 17, and
shoes on your feet, I'm balling.
You know, when you're 16, 17, you are craving independence. You want to be out of the house. And so, you know, I think I kind of romanticized the idea of just getting older and getting to that stage. And I've never had like one of those milestone freakouts, you know, like, oh, when I turned 21, that was a whole party. You know, when I turned 25, when I turned 30, 35, when I turned 40, 45, you know, and it's wild because, you know, for as old as I am, you can tell.
Yeah, the silver look good on you, though.
Thank you. But for as old as I am, you know, in my age or whatever, like, if you were to ask me how I feel, like, I feel like I would say mid-20s. Yeah, like that's the age that I'm at. That's how I operate. You know, so. I have no misgivings about, like, you know, trying to recapture my youth or whatever. She out here living life, you know what I mean?
Her whole best life.
So, you know, so it was never really about the age thing. I love getting older because I feel like the more older that I get, the less fucks I have to give.
Ooh, that's a
you know, like
statement.
It goes like this.
It's like I feel like the spirit of Dionne Warwick just coming over me.
I hope I am like Dionne Warwick at that age, though. Even before that age, shit.
Yes,
like Dionne's living her life.
When she came on the Verses and she was there for a hot minute, she was like, "All right, y'all, I'm about to go."
That's what friends are for.
Wait, do y'all remember when she got arrested for having weed at the airport?
Yes. I do remember. Wasn't that Newark?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know why I remember that. Wow, that's weird.
That's a good.
She had it in her lipstick. Don't ask me how I remember this stuff. Don't ask me how I remember this shit.
Age ain't nothing but a number. And I'll put this weed in my lipstick if I want to.
Facts.
Because you know the ladies of that age be having their lipstick in their pocketbook.
Okay, let's do an old lady match, all right?
Okay.
Dionne Warwick, okay, Gladys Knight, and Aretha Franklin.
You got to throw Patty in there, too.
Who do you identify?
I was going to say Patty.
Okay, we'll throw Patty in there, too. Okay,
because Patty's on Drink Champs right now, and it's in my queue to listen to. Yes. I cannot wait to listen to that episode. She had her own glass. Let's see, who do I identify with?
Who do you identify with most personality-wise, catalog-wise? Like, who do you identify with most?
Oh, God.
I'm definitely Dionne Warwick. Definitely.
You are, yeah.
Definitely.
You are Dionne.
I've only got 3 songs.
And sing the shit out of them, though. I love that, like, Instagram right now is showing a lot of old Dionne stuff.
Yeah.
Like, people be forgetting Dionne was that bitch back in the day.
She was.
Like, Dionne Warwick.
She did a lot of covers, too.
Yes.
She did a lot of covers, but that's definitely my spirit animal.
And I want Tiana Taylor to play Dionne Warwick in the movie. I think Tiana Taylor looks like young Dionne Warwick so much. It's wild. Ooh,
she gonna have to tone that body down because there ain't no way she's gonna be able to fit all that in them sleeve dresses. Oh, no.
You're right though. Personality
do some CGI.
Honey, right? It's like get rid of them abs and them toned arms. Everything you don't work for. Probably, I would say personality-wise, I'm probably more like Gladys. Because I'm not maybe as amped up as a Patty. Yeah, and I'm probably not as shady as a Dionne. So I feel like Gladys is kind of like somewhere in the middle there. Like Gladys will have her moments, but Gladys like, just leave me alone. I'm just here enjoying life. But come at me if you want to.
And she'll get you a hairdo, girl.
Honey, she will. Don't fall for Gladys. They said, Gladys, what if you... I forget the words, but yeah, man. Love overboard. And then I'm definitely not Aretha, even though she's from Michigan. Aretha's just Aretha. There ain't nobody like Aretha.
I aspire a bit to Aretha, but I know Aretha's
just the queen.
I don't have it within me. Like that interview when Wendy Williams was like, I bet, when you fall in love, you be like the rest of us girls and get stupid in love. She goes, you get stupid. Right. I don't. I know who I am.
Aretha would check you in a heartbeat. Aretha don't play, man. Aretha
what about you, Landy? What's up? Who you thinking?
I'm laughing to myself because I immediately knew who I was going to be and why. I would be Patty because it would be me at the national tree lighting ceremony, and ain't got no and I ain't got no background singers, and I'm singing like background singers. That is some shit that I would do.
Cue cards. This Christmas.
I should get all the
that
way
would
to
be me.
I should get all the way to the National Christmas Tree thing and don't know none of the words.
That would be me, because I would call some shit out like that. Like I would forget the words and be like, bitch, where are my cue cards? Where are my background singers? Where are they?
Yes, I love that generation.
And the killer part about it is during that performance, she still sang the hell out of the song.
She sure did.
And made up her own words.
Hang on the hell out of it.
Christmas is coming today.
To go, you better.
And then she was just like,
"You cards at this Christmas." Where my background singers?
That would be me in a heartbeat. The minute you said which lady, I was thinking Patty, and I was thinking the whole national tree lighting
don't
ceremony.
talk about that whole situation. When them background singers were on stage, though, they hit that mark. They was harmonizing from jump. They came late, but they was harmonizing the shit out that song. Patty had them bitches together. They was late, but together.
All their periods were all cycled together, like they were synced up.
Bitch. They said, "Oh, what day is it? Oh, what time in the month?" Yup. Synced.
I'm logging off. I'm logging off right now.
I'm just saying.
That moment will forever live in infamy.
Infamy.
100%. 100%.
So does that mean Jerrell is Aretha?
Sounds about right.
Yep. She always about that energy.
We love you, Jerrell.
We miss you, girl.
We do. Oh, Lord Jesus. So I don't even know. This wasn't even on the list, but I like this conversation. What is on the list? Where is my list? Where are my background singers? I ain't got no cue cards. I got the Jesus.
That would be me in a heartbeat. I'd be like, where are my background singers? Where are they? Where are they?
Funny.
So do we want to pick up with the Beyonce conversation?
Yes, and a couple things even off the presses for the Beyonce thing you see today. And so we're recording a little earlier in the week than we normally do. But today, she's just another singer that got caught saying spaz on the record. And I'm glad this is coming out because I'm guilty of it too. That's not really in my vocabulary, but I probably said it in my life, not even thinking really where the root of the word comes from and that it might be offensive to someone. So it's just interesting for how on point Beyonce is about everything, that she didn't hear the whole Lizzo uproar like a month ago over using the word spaz and not take it out the damn song before it released. So she said she's going to take it out, and it's in that Heated song.
Yeah.
So question, when it comes down to this word, and I get like why there's such an uproar, but I'm wondering if there's a lot of education. I guess that's really a part of it. If there's a lot of education to the point where someone just wouldn't know. And so it's not intentional. Not that that's an excuse at all, but it's like, I don't think people like Lizzo or Beyonce would intentionally use that word if they knew that it had this particular meaning or context.
Right.
I think one of the challenges is that I think you're absolutely right, Landon. But I think one of the challenges of it is that, you know, as we start talking about having more inclusive language,
yeah,
you know, we have to get out of the mindset of the mindset of intention, because we have to focus on
behavior.
Aware. We have to focus on being aware, because it's not about intention, it's about perception. Mm-hmm. And what I love about what's happening now, it's I don't want to say that it's like a gotcha moment, you know, or like a cancellation moment. I think what's happening is our language is changing so fast. It's evolving so fast. So what used to be acceptable, or what used to be, you know, just part of our lexicon, part of our language, part of our vernacular, part of our, you know, everyday, you know, use of words and whatnot. Some of those words have such pain attached to them for certain parts of our communities, and the socially responsible thing to do is to remove those from our lexicon. And it takes things like this happening to make us be aware, you know, so we use, you know, these kinds of you know, terms, whatever they are,
that evoke trauma for folks.
Yeah. I'll give you an example, like just gender language, things like grandfathered in, or using the term redlining of a contract, which is really redlining out Black people of certain districts from a voting perspective. You know, these words have trauma that's attached to them, and it's less about someone being intentional about using it in that way, and it's more about raising the awareness to say, hey, you know, if you want to be as inclusive and you don't want to offend people, there are certain words that are triggering that you need to just be aware of, and you need to remove them. And as an ally, you should be removing them.
And here's, I guarantee you, this is what happened. And it's not right, wrong, or indifferent. Like, you have to definitely be aware, even if you don't write something. Guarantee you, like, she didn't write that part of the song. And she's in these sessions. She's in this session, just seeing how some of these sessions work. Because I've been in a few where you're just like, okay, people are just throwing out ideas, seeing what sticks, what sounds swaggy in the moment, what sounds good in the moment. And you're not even really thinking, because you're thinking more like, what sounds good for this part of the song? So you're not even really sometimes thinking of the deepness that it might be, because you're just like, oh, I'm spazzing on this, you know, and moved on to the next part. So I'm sure that's what happens. Like, someone wrote that part. She's like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Spazzing, saying it, and moved on to the next song, next harmony part, and not even really thinking. And it doesn't make it right. Right. But guarantee you that's what was probably occurring in that session.
Go ahead, go.
And don't people be thinking like Beyonce really be on social media, like she know what the fuck is going on?
Exactly.
She do though. She be putting some shit. How she know that?
I'm just saying, like. But yeah. Realistically though, Beyonce ain't out there like. First of all, she ain't following anybody.
Yeah.
So let's start with that.
You know Beyonce got that Finsta though. You know Beyonce got that Finsta. I want to know who she following on that Finsta.
Right. But. You know, it's not like she's out there like that looped into. I feel like Beyonce is one of those megastars that have the privilege of being so far removed about the everyday conversation that this probably was never even on her radar.
Right.
Even though it was a big blow up for a lot of other people.
But isn't that the problem?
It could be. It could be. But
after the whole, but Kerel, you said it best. You said it best.
Yeah.
Like, how did someone in her crew, if you're watching out for Beyonce and all of these other areas, how was someone not watching out for her and not know about what happened with the whole Lizzo situation?
Yeah, that's the only part that is a little weird, because it was big enough culturally and media-wise that... But again, sometimes that ball is rolling so quickly and you have so much on your plate, especially a Beyonce when she's doing 20 billion things. The team is just going. Okay, we got to hit this July 29th date, Not even think about that lyric.
Yeah.
Should it pop something in your head? Because, like, you know, you said it. Yeah. But it does sound like she put the statement out saying she's going to remove it. And that's a weird thing to me now about just music and movies. Like, Stranger Things is doing it. Like, and I don't know how I feel because it's just like, a lot of times you don't own a physical copy for a lot of our media anymore, that they can literally go back and remove stuff, change stuff, and you have like no original copies anymore. And something like this is like, I don't care to have an original copy, but I remember back in the day, like Michael Jackson on the History album said, "Jew me, sue me, everybody do me, and kick me, kike me, don't you black or white me." And the Jewish community was like up in arms about this. And so he had to go back and re-record those lines. I forget what the new lines are now, but I had an original copy of that CD. So the CD for years that I had was the original version, and then everything you stream now is the newer version. And there's just something weird now, and it's right to do. I would absolutely change it, but it's just something weird that for
it's technology,
a culture that grew up in a physical thing where you couldn't change shit like that. That now you could go back and change scenes of TV shows. They're doing it with Stranger Things. As I drool on myself, that was weird. Change the scenes of shows for things that now, a few years later, aren't as PC or things like that. And it's just like, I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know how I feel about it.
Where would you draw the line?
I don't know.
Because I asked that question very poignantly because there are certain pieces of, like, granted, this is entertainment. Got it. Music is entertainment. But music can also be historical.
Yeah.
And so, I do wonder where might one draw the line? Because there are some, let's just say hypothetically, we get to a place where predominantly within the Black American, so those that are Black that live in America, have given up on using the N-word, right? And say that we as a community at large, there might be pockets that don't agree, but at large, don't want this word to be, in music and da-da-da-da-da. And so artists feel the pressure to kind of take it out. But like, I think about some of the old books, like The Bluest Eye and, just a bunch of other,
or even like Disney with
stories or TV shows or
movie.
Yeah, it's just, I wonder how much of that should, like, where do you draw the line? Is it new stuff as of 2020 going forward?
Yeah.
Or do you like start looking back and start holding networks and, production companies, movies or whatever, accountable for promoting bad language?
Yeah.
I would say it's definitely a question of where do you draw the line, but I think it's also a matter of who as collectively, like, do we as Black people, we decide that we don't want to use that language anymore, and like who is a part of that? There are some people that just don't care. There are some Black people that just don't care that the N-word is in a song. They don't. So they may not want to be a part of that conversation.
Yeah. And even like this situation, I'm sure there's probably some folks of disabilities that are like, okay, I get the context of her saying this. She's not saying something that's disrespecting me personally. And I'm sure it's that same kind of conversation in that community as well. But it's just like, anymore with social media, it's like who yells the loudest, who gets the folks on board the most wins. And that's the nature of the beast. And again, like, I agree that this word should be taken out, but it's just like, I don't know. And it's almost like you saw old movies kind of predicting this, where things are trying to get to this utopia, and you say something, you get surveillance on you and things like that. And I feel like this is where that line is starting to take us. That things become so quote unquote PC that I don't know. And again, it's the right thing to do. So that's where I get stuck in my brain. It's just like, I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
But the album's still jamming though. The album's still jamming. Like,
I listen to it. I've been listening to it all day today. Like, to it all day.
It's such a good album from 1 to 16. It's so rare now to get an album that you can listen to that many songs anymore. Usually there's a lot of throwaway songs on the albums now.
And even like the 2 or 3 songs that I'm not like super crazy about. Yeah. When I'm listening to the album, because I just have it on shuffle and it just keeps going over and over and over and over again, and it keeps filling my soul every time. But even like the very few songs that I'm like, I'm not like really like, so it's not that I'm not feeling it, but it's like, it's not giving me anything. Yeah. It's just, it's there and it's good, but it's,
Which songs are they?
I'd have to look at the track list.
Okay.
But
I'm pulling it up.
Usually they're the slow songs.
the slow song. And there's not that many slow songs on this album. So
there's, I think, 3 or 4. That's it. So, but even those, like, I still rock with.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, like 100%. Yeah. And the vocals,
honey,
the vocals on this album, it's just anybody that I get people who listen to music from an entertainment perspective. It's purely entertainment. Like, do I like this song? Do I like? But like when you start to listen to the musicality, you listen to the vocal arrangement, you listen to the you know, the production around it. You listen to like how they ebb and flow, if there's breaks or if it's a continuous, you know, momentum. Whatever you start dissecting all those things, this is masterful.
Yeah, her skill level. And I've said it so many times about her. I just genuinely enjoy people that have been in their industry or their roles or their jobs for a certain amount of time and still have that drive to improve. And Beyonce's such a case of that. She was great before, but if you listen to the evolution of her voice and her skill level and her restraint is more than anything, like her restraint to hit certain notes. Because if you go back to some old Destiny's Child, she was just singing just to sing, like, you're like, okay, Beyonce, we get you can sing. But now she has the restraint to be like, nope, I'm gonna hit these certain notes purposely to show how good I am and how much restraint I have learned over time to not have to do 9,000 runs. I might still give you about 2,000 runs. But it's just master class. Like, I get excited when I just hear shit like that.
What about her background vocals? What do you think about those?
I love a good background. The whole album is just killer. Like, I knew it was going to be a killer background vocal album when I heard Break My Soul. Like, the choices that she chose, like the certain notes she chose, like, and I don't know if this was an episode, it might have been before we recorded one of the episodes, like, she knows her history and she knows certain songs of why people sing it a certain way, and she knows what it invokes. So even something like a Break My Soul, you could tell she was listening to like a CeCe Peniston, because there were certain cadences and certain notes she hit that I'm like, oh, she knew this house music needed this because people are going to relay that to the CeCe Peniston era. And this, there's just so much deepness in there. I'm like, this bitch. I'll shut up because I can hear Jerrell in my mind now, like, okay, new topic.
Dawon and his partner Adam came to up north here in Westchester, hang out. We were talking about it. We're not in Connecticut, shut your face. And we were talking about, I said to Dawon and Adam, I was like, you know, I really like, I like the album. There are some songs that don't necessarily do it for me, just like Dawon said, but I really love the flow of the album. Like, I feel like Lemonade, it felt a little choppy in regards to like the flow of the album. That's just me. But with this album, it felt like Alien Superstar is my jam.
So good.
And so listening to the first three tracks, listening to the first three tracks, and then kind of there's a flow that I really enjoy about the album.
Yeah. The transition from Alien 100%. Superstar to Cozy to Cuff It to what's right before Break My Soul. Oh, Energy. To Break My Soul. That run is fucking insane to me. Like, that is a run of songs that are just all trying to top one another. Like, I was like,
come out with Church Girl right after that. I mean, just dirty.
Like, gave us like a second of reprieve. And then it comes with a Twinkie Clark sample. I was like, I can't stand you, Beyonce. I cannot stand you.
The Tiggo Bitties. I'm like, why are you playing with us?
Don't hurt nobody.
we are clearly in the Beyonce matrix right now.
Honey. And I kept on asking Corey. I was like, is it just because I'm a stan? Is it like, am I just overhyping this up too much? He's like, no, it's just he says it's just a good album.
But it is.
And I think it's just maybe even the joy of finally hearing some good music a collection of good music again. Like, because it's so hard. Not too many people put that much time and effort into their music because they know they can put a couple songs out, 2 minutes, 33 seconds, and get those streams on Spotify right quick and get the coin, and it's good to go. Drake's kind of falling into that camp right now. The last album or two, he's starting to fall where he's just putting music out because he knows the amount of streams that are going to come from these 2 minutes and 34-second songs. And he's not putting too much effort. And it comes easy for him. He's still great. But this is just a different level, and it excites me.
Yeah, it's this album is complete, and I don't know if y'all talked about this before. I haven't been able to catch up on all the episodes that you talked about.
The track by track reaction last week.
Sometimes I'm just like, okay, Beyonce again, but
shut up.
But in my but in my mind, I'm like, okay. We still get classic Beyonce, but this is completely different than anything that we have ever heard from her before. And that's what I love. We still have, like, we know it's Beyonce, we feel it, but it's not Sasha Fierce. It's not Lemonade. It's not...
It's Uncle Johnny made that dress.
It's just different.
A mess.
It's just different, and I enjoy it because I grew up in Houston, so when Destiny's Child kind of came out, we were all feeling it. So I feel right. Yes, and I just remember. I feel like I grew up with the original Beyonce. Yeah, I feel like I grew up with like the first. Variation or the first version of Beyonce that came out, and to see the evolution, granted it's that first album, not the first one, the second one, that came out in what, 99?
D-Day.
Oh, wait,
no, yeah.
Writing
99
came out probably like 2000.
Yeah.
2000.
Are you sure? I thought Survivor came out in 2000.
Survivor came out, I think, when I was in college, so like 2000, or maybe right when I graduated high school, so like 2003 maybe.
Okay. So yeah, it was just like, wow, like just to hear and see her on Writings on the Wall to this, the evolution, it's just amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so I know it's a long topic. Quickly, does Kelis have a rightful issue at hand? So those that didn't see it, I don't know how you didn't see it. Kelis was upset because, and she's just really mad more at like Pharrell and Chad, honestly, because they've done it multiple times to her. And so this is like a thing that's been going on forever. Like anytime they sample a lot of Kelis's music, she feels a way because they sample all the time her music. She feels a way because she was pretty much robbed by Pharrell and Chad of her publishing rights. And when you're that young in the industry.
And her money.
Exactly. And so Kelis's thought is just like, yes, I know I don't have the writing credits on there. They stole it from me. So she went the proper channels. But as a woman saying girl power, and my situation because we have the same kind of management and circles, at least just give me a heads up saying you're going to reference this song because like I know how much I contributed to my own songs. Is she right or is she wrong? I mean, she can feel the way she want to feel. No, anyway, it don't matter. But you said yes, Landon.
Yes, 100%. She talks about, I want my reparations, but I don't think she's referring solely to money. I think it's a credit thing. When we look at just wanting recognition, we want recognition to get a phone call and be like, hey, bitch, girl, I'm about to sample your shit on my new album. Like a heads up. I can't blame her for feeling that way. Dawon was kind of talking about like, is it fake outrage and like, what's the purpose of the outrage? I'm sorry, but for me as someone, like another manager copied my shit a couple of years ago and I was like, bitch, you got that shit from me. So I know how it feels. I know how it feels to have your idea or your essence stolen. And it's like, that's not even you. So I get where she's coming from. I don't think it was a personal thing. I don't think Beyonce was like, I'm gonna steal that bitch's shit. I don't think any of that. But I do think that some recognition is called for sure.
Thank you, Dawon.
Yeah, I agree.
I already know what you're laughing at. Here we go.
I'm not gonna go all Sierra on this. But short answer is yes. I think she has a point. I definitely think she has a point. I just, going back to the conversation that Landon and I was having about this, I said, I always question people's motives when they go to social media to air this stuff out.
Gotcha.
I just question their motives because, you know, if it really means that much to you, sue somebody. Why do you, like, first of all, ain't you a baker? Ooh. Ain't you baking right now?
That don't mean a damn thing. That don't mean a damn thing. That don't mean a damn. No, it don't. No, it does.
It does in the context. It does in the context of why are you going to social media with this?
Recognition.
Period. And here's the thing:
she brought in the wrong. In my opinion, she brought like. I get her beef with Pharrell and what's his face?
Chad the Amoeba.
Yeah,
she called him an Amoeba.
She said, I don't even know how he's holding his neck up. I hollered.
I was like, okay, that's dumb as hell, Kelis. You funny on that.
But the fact that she kind of like called Beyoncé into it, you know, like she knows how things works behind the scenes.
Well, I think she was saying like people were calling her into it. Like she said people were like commenting on her shit. Saying, hey, you see Beyonce stole your shit. Oh, you see Beyonce, da 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 da. And so that's how she got alert. Like, see, she was like, see, I don't even know how I got in this. How y'all drag me in this? Like Dee said, it's like y'all don't drag me in this shit. It ain't had shit to do with me. And here's the thing, I've been following Kelis like forever. She was one of the first people that I followed on IG. So she's always like been talking like that on her IG. So right. I don't think people were used to it because they had never followed her. Because I screenshotted like when it first started popping to see how many followers are gonna come up. She's up like 200K. Like so.
She said, "Oh, my hair is cute." She said, "I laughed my ass off."
But I feel it, like especially like when you are a creative being, to feel like you don't get the recognition and you know your shit got stolen from the people you thought were your friends that were helping you out at the beginning, you still kind of feel a way about it. So you're sensitive about your shit. But legally, there's not much you can do.
Oh,
and that's the frustrating thing. And I get it too, because Pharrell does go everywhere. Like there's a thing called United Artists right now that artists could get a lot more of their publishing now. And he's kind of, so you always see him on them United Artists commercials. Give creators their publishing and make sure that if you create something to be known. So that's why she's upset, because I see it all the time on my Instagram, Pharrell talking about this shit. And she's like, you say this shit, yet you know how much I contributed to all of this catalog that we had that popped you off, you guys off. Yet here we are 20 years later and you still ain't like cooperating for me to get the proper recognition and my coins. So I think, again, she probably knew in the back of her mind that, okay, if I'm going to say shit, let me put this shit on IG then, because I might get my following up, get a couple more festival tours. But she's like, also, I get to say what I need to say.
See, it was the first part that you just said. Again, why I question the motive of when somebody comes up. Like, I don't disagree that she has a point. She absolutely does.
Yeah.
But, you know, for somebody who hasn't been in the game like this.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's Beyonce. I'm gonna try to hop on this too.
If it bothers you that much, buy your masters.
Oof, that's because that's a battle against Pharrell.
Oh! Now all of a sudden we want to backtrack. Exactly. Well, I mean, let's call a spade a spade.
So I hope behind the scenes, and Beyonce is usually pretty good about this stuff, where she might out the blue be like, "Kelis, I got you your publishing." Her and Jay-Z, like they've always forever do some shit like that behind the scene. So I hope that happens, because I truly think Kelis is very underrated. For the generation, there's a lot of people that did copy Kelis. There are a lot, you know. So it's just like, I've always enjoyed Kelis, and I've always put her on a little pedestal in my world, because I still rock her albums monthly.
Monthly?
But the first album is so fire. And they finally just put Wonderland on streaming services maybe like a year ago, like a year or two ago.
It's so good.
It's so hard to find that album. Like I had it somewhere and I was like, that CD scratched up somewhere. Yeah. So, and then her food album. Tasty,
yeah.
That's with Milkshake. But then she had like some food albums later. And then Acapella. That song is so fire. Woo!
So fire.
Woo! So yeah, no, I'm a Kelis fan, but yeah, I think she had a moment, but I don't think there's anything she's unfortunately right now going to be able to do. Unless Beyonce finds a way to be like, hey, you write, let me put your name on these writing credits. Because Beyonce can do that. Can say, I interpolated your music, your idea, and I can add you to this particular song if I want to. So we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I was ready for any answer Dawon gave, considering our car conversation the other day when I picked him up at the wrong train station. Let me just put that out there. I was ready with. I know.
What did he say? What did he say?
Well, as we were talking in the car, and this is days ago, it seemed as though, Dawon, and please correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed as though maybe what I was trying to say in regards to recognition wasn't getting through. Like when it comes to like getting recognition, having your shit stolen. So I was ready with some receipts about what you said in episode 176.
Oh, she done did some she like them community members that be in the DMs.
I was ready, and then so when you gave your answer, now I said, okay. So on, let me. Okay, episode
176.
Right, episode was 176. Get the title so they can go check it out.
So that was with Dr. Quentin Morris.
Oh, that was a good episode, by the way.
And we got on that. We got on that podcast talking about Black contributions to various art forms and talking about music in particular and Black contributions. And you said,
and she quotes.
I'm dead. I'm so weak.
At 9:14, you said first they stole us and then they stole from us. In that context of music, so
well, they said they as a white people.
I know,
but I guess we're still from Black people too, though. But here's the thing about art, though. Here's the thing about art. Everyone.
I was ready though.
By everyone steals from everybody. Yeah. There's nothing new underneath the sun. It's just a way of your perspective of putting back out there. So Kelis is right. People have stolen from her, including Beyoncé. Everyone gets inspired by each other. It's just what you do with that, and if you give the proper recognition, and I think that's where Kelis is coming, that she felt like, especially someone on Beyonce's level, has never rightfully said, you know what, Kelis, you have inspired me in these ways, and I got you. And that's what she's just feeling right now. So, all right, let's get off the topic. All right. Go ahead, Dawon. You have one last thing? Closing note?
Nope, that's all.
Okay.
Nope.
We'll take a little tea break. We interrupt this episode for very important information.
That's right. You've been asking for it for a long time, and we have heard you.
Yep, it's been a long time coming, but it's finally here.
Yo
AunteaS
got merch! Hey! That's right. You know what? We got tees, we got long tees, we got sweatshirts, we got fanny packs, there's just a whole gamut of stuff out there, so go and check that out.
We are so appreciative of your love and support, and we are so excited to launch it. Girl, where can we find it at?
Ma'am, they can head right over to minorityareport.com to check out the selection.
That's right. That's MINORITEA report.com.
Woo! I'm about to go get me some myself. Later said on episode 176 at 54 minutes 32 seconds.
Listen, I listened to the whole damn episode to get to that one
that
point.
Was good. Hey Quinn, by the way,
hey Q.
That might be on my list of favorite episodes of the year. Like I thoroughly enjoyed that conversation with Q. So if you
would that be on best of?
It might be. It might be one of my segments. I've thought that. I put that down in my little notebook as one that potentially. You know, we still got a few more weeks in the year, so there might be some that topic. But we'll see. But okay, what time is it?
Ask
Yo
Aunteas.
I'm a weird. Who wants to read? Landon, you read it.
Okay. All right. Hey, aunties, question for you all. I have this best friend. We do everything together. He's truly the best kind of company. I'm hilarious. I mean, he's hilarious, makes me feel energized, and we can be our goofy selves together. Thing is, whenever we're together, all eyes land on my friend. He's not my type sexually, but I definitely consider him attractive with his dark brown eyes, really muscular, and glorious locks. Okay. It's hard for me to be it's hard for me to be around him and have all the boys gravitate to him immediately. He gets hit on all the time while men act like I don't exist. I'm always comparing myself to him. I can't help but feel down and feel inferior to his good looks. This only happens when we're out meeting guys. Otherwise, I love spending time with him where I don't feel I'm invisible. I accept that he's better looking than me, but how can I stop comparing myself to him and feeling inferior? Do you have a crush on your friend?
That's what Kyler, he said. He said his dark brown eyes, really muscular, and glorious locks. Ooh. I was like, okay, you pictures, please, or he doesn't exist. You know, like, I feel like, I mean, especially in gay culture, gay bars, this and that, like, we've all had moments where we feel overlooked or not seen, or that, like, our friend is prettier than us and this and that, whatever. So that's a valid feeling. I want to at least acknowledge that like, I felt that before. You're like, damn, y'all don't see how fly I am? Like, shit, like, come on. Like, I know he fly, but I am also fly. But control what you can control. Like, I mean, like, know what you contribute, know what you bring to a situation. Yeah. Like, going to certain bars, it might cater to certain clientele more than who you are and things like that. So put yourself in environments where you the one they flocking to, you know, and don't think you're less than because they're going to him. Like, that doesn't have to be, I think Dawon was like, it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. Like, two things can exist at the same time. Like, rep your flyness, and he could also be fly at the same time. Big up your friend. If they fly, be the wingman, get in them conversations. If your personality better than his, by the end of the conversation, they might be flocking to you because he ain't got the personality or whatever it may be. So I don't know. I get that there's always that feeling like, oh, I want to be seen. I want to be the pretty one in the bar. I want to be the pretty one in the room. I get that. I completely get that. But don't let it get it so down that you think you're inferior. Like, that's a strong word to me. That's
problematic.
It kind of is. So, like, I would check that and just be like, where's that rooted in?
Not problematic in that sense. It's self-damaging.
Yes, 1,000%.
Self-damaging.
So don't use that word inferior. You're not inferior. You're not.
There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you.
And don't let people make you feel inferior either. Like, if they are saying things or acting a certain way, I'll be like, okay, talk to him. I'm going to go over here and find me someone else to talk to. Some cutie over here, you know? And yeah, so you're not inferior. Rep your own flyness. Be proud of your own flyness. You can't change it. I mean, I guess you could get plastic surgery and all that bullshit, but you can't change it. So, like, find what you love about yourself. And, you know, there's always moments where, you know, some person at the bar likes a certain part of you. You know, they might even, like, grab your arm or touch your shoulder, or grab your ass. You know, it is what it is. Be aware of those moments because they flirt with you, too. They flirt with you, and you're so wrapped up in everybody looking at him, you ain't seeing the dude that's over here checking you out. So that's where I get.
Don't be so caught up in what is happening with your friend. You miss your own blessing, right? Somebody could be checking you. Somebody could be someone, right? Someone could be across the bar looking at you and seeing you for all of the things that you bring to the table. We live in this world where we think we have this ideal partner, mate, relationship, whatever. And it's like, yo, you bring something to the table. There's something unique about you that someone is going to see or even feel. Maybe it's the way you talk, the way you walk. There's something about you that might even...
Oh no, too much.
Okay.
My bad.
No, it's okay. Yeah, I wasn't trying to be that graphic, but sure. There might be, there just might be something, that makes somebody's dick twitch about you,
Or butthole pucker.
Right.
Or butthole pucker, whatever.
Come on, butterscotch.
Y'all, let's be real. Y'all know your dick twitching, your butthole pucking. There's something. It is what it is.
Sometimes you gotta adjust your shorts.
Right, you be like, ooh,
You gotta adjust.
wore the wrong underwear today. I ain't even wear no underwear today. Woo, put this monster away.
Yeah, but know what you bring. Know what you bring to the table. There's something about you that is also glorious.
Yeah.
And you just have to recognize that. What is it about you that makes you glorious? And it could be your looks, but it also could be something else about you that maybe you just don't see that someone else will.
Might be a cash because it ain't your face. It must be the cash because it ain't your face. Sorry.
God, it's gonna be a whole Beyoncé episode again.
It always is.
I know.
I was just trying to think of this analogy, like, person A could have $20 in their pocket going out to the bars, and person B could have $200, and they can both go to the same bar. And yeah, the person with $200 can buy a lot more, but it's not about how much more, it's about what you do with what you have. Mm-hmm. And so, look, I didn't have $20 in my pocket and had a fabulous time. I think part of, answering your question around how can you stop comparing, I agree with the guys here. It's one, just recognizing what you're bringing to the table. I think that's number one. Number two, I think at the end of the day, if you are feeling some kind of like inferiority complex or feeling inferior because, you're with someone who is, more traditionally attractive in that kind of like broader sense or whatever.
That muscular, brown eyes, glorious locks kind of way.
I think, and this comes with maturity. I think that and not age, just maturity.
Yeah.
And personal growth. I think the more that people focus on those superficial things, like how many people are hitting on my friends versus how many people are hitting on me, thinking of that versus what is the caliber of the interactions I'm having with people? Because the reality of it is you ain't got to go to no bar to get hit on by some man. Mm-hmm. And you certainly don't have to go to a bar to hook up. So,
right.
So like if you're putting your value and your self-worth in these very superficial things, I would encourage you just to unpack why that is.
Yeah.
It's probably has less to do with someone that you deem as better looking than you, even if, like from a purely superficial perspective, you may have somebody that is muscular, that's tall, that's this, that's that. The reality of it is that there is always going to be someone out there that is more of that than you.
Exactly.
And not just you specifically, than your friend who has glorious locks. There will be somebody that will walk in with glorious locks that are down to the floor.
Right.
And when they walk, it has their own wind machine.
Right. You got a Beyoncé fan.
There's always going to be like, I feel like people think like, oh, if only I had this, if only I had muscles, if only I had, a square jawline, if only I had pretty eyelashes, if only I had, the nice car, if only I had a certain kind of job, if only I was at this place in my life, they put their value based on those things, but not realizing that if and when you achieve those things, you are still comparing yourself because there's always going to be someone who has more, better, more whatever. And I think that the trick is, how do you find comfort in who you are and what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
From a practical standpoint, I would say stop going out with your friend all the damn time.
Like if you say you enjoy more one-on-one, so hang out with him one-on-one and
just do that.
Yeah. That's
but you know what? Also,
recommendation. I want to give you like the Maya Angelou answer, but I also want to give you the
stop going to the bar with him.
Right, like get you some more friends. Get you some
different friends. Get you some different.
Ooh, what if they came up to one of us?
Bitch,
no, one of y'all.
No, I'm gonna be the flyest motherfucker in that bitch. Like I know what I bring. Look, shit.
Right.
Come up to me if you want to. You're gonna be in the same predicament.
We'll wingman for you. We'll wingman for you. Hey, but our shit is already settled. So.
And see.
One thing I want to add.
Go ahead, Landy.
One thing I wanted to add, don't compare yourself to someone else. Compare yourself to your growth from a few years ago. Who are you now? Like what have you improved upon in your life, both financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually? There are things, if I'm gonna, Michael Jackson said it best, you got to look at the man in the mirror. And like compare yourself to the person that you are now.
Not a good cosmetic reference.
I
meant the song, fool.
Sure was it, because he was struggling his whole life. Damn, you right, Dawon. You right. That was a bad analogy.
No, I meant the song. Oh my God. I'm logging off.
Flip up the collar on my favorite winter coat. This wind is blowing my mind. Yeah, no, that was a good question though. And again, like a lot of times, like I listen back to the episodes, I'm like, man, we preaching today. A lot of times we gotta preach to ourselves, quite frankly. Like we're not saying we know it all and we just have a perfect life. No, we are constantly trying to better ourselves too. And we've been in situations where we felt that way, but we don't let it. Like I just keep on going back to that inferior word. I don't let it, or I try not to let it get to that point where it's like I feel inferior. It's like I let somebody give me like have that much power over me that I feel that much less than of myself. No, and that's work though. That's Kerel at 38. That's not Kerel at 22. That's not Kerel at 37. That's something that I consciously try to do. Some days are better. Some weeks are better. Some months are worse. Some years are worse. But knowing that I have something to contribute to society, there's special gifts. Literally, like, and I live by this so much. My dad used to say growing up, the most, what do you say? The most original thing about yourself is yourself. Like, he's like, no one else could be you. No one else could be you. You are the most original thing. So tap into that. Start that at the foundation and love on yourself. Love what you like. Be like today, you know what? My smile looking kind of cute. Them dimples kind of popping today. You know what? So I'm going to smirk at this dude at the bar next week because I'm feeling myself. I'm loving that about myself. I love my eyes today. Then next thing you know, people pick up on that. That's the most sexy thing. That's what people don't realize. Oh boy, that looks good. Sexy. Yes, he might be spoken into. People are constantly telling him. But at some point, he believed it. And now that is exuding in his confidence of when he walks into places, and people flock to that more than anything. So,
but maybe, and who's to say that friend? Maybe he wishes he didn't get all that attention. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he wishes. Oh, I could just stand back and just be with my friend, and he doesn't know how to push those other people away who think he's attractive and want to come talk to him. We just don't know. So, it's very easy to look at one side and, just think that the grass is greener, but you don't know.
Brown is browner.
Okay.
Yes. So, anyway, continue to see you. I'm in a weird mood today. Continue to see your questions at AYA at MinorityReport.com or DM us. Okay, we're almost at the hour. We got to talk about Drag Race.
Yes.
So we haven't talked about the last two episodes, but let's really focus maybe even like the finale.
Focus on the finale because
it was kind of boo-boo. It was kind of boo-boo.
Kinda.
They stumbled at the end of like that show.
I feel like the finale was like overly produced
and anticlimactic as fuck.
It really was, because first of all, Shay ate that lip sync.
Showed it.
Monet ate that lip sync so much that they edited her the fuck out of the lip sync that she was in.
Yeah.
Like the editing was so heavy on what Jinkx was doing that they edited out. Like they didn't even show that Jinkx's name was on the lipstick that she was putting on.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Right, because they didn't show it. So, like, this is the kind of tea that starts. Well, you know, I'm part of this, the Monet stand, so you know, I know all about it. But like, there was so much stuff that Shay was doing that they just completely edited out, and even the
Monet was doing,
I'm sorry, that Monet was doing that they just completely edited out. Like within the first 5 seconds of the lip sync, I could tell, in the finale lip sync, I could tell they were already favoring because they were just showing her. They did the same thing with Valentina. You know, when Monet went against Valentina, and I forget what song it was, but Valentina was twirling all around in the background or whatever. The whole show was on her, and they weren't showing anything that Monet was doing. And like, Monet is a lip sync assassin, like
1000%.
So there was no way that.
And same with Evie. I thought Evie did better than Raja. I was like,
absolutely.
And here's the thing, and I get like, and I'm glad. The one thing that I'm glad that RuPaul did say was she said the lip sync and the rest of the season, because I was like, based on because the whole season they were saying the lip sync RuPalooza or whatever they were calling it, and I was like, then if it's based on this last challenge, that's not who won. Evie should have won, and Monet should have won. But I'm glad at least for Monet and Jinkx she said the whole season, and I mean it was splitting hairs because Monet was coming in at the end fast, like bitch.
Right.
I still think maybe Jinkx had maybe more moments that might live a little longer than some of Monet's moments from this season, but it was close. It was closer than people were giving Monet out there in like Twitter land and shit.
they had to edit her. They had to edit out Monet. More than 50% of that lip sync was edited towards Jinkx, meaning having camera time, which means you couldn't even assess the fairness of the lip sync battle because they weren't even showing Monet.
Yeah.
And my other gripe is that the songs were boo-boo.
The songs were boo-boo.
Horrible songs.
Yeah.
Horrible songs. Like, these are the songs that y'all paid for the
do Aretha
finale.
and the Rhythmics and like that. That's not even their best songs, both of them. Like that
was a whole season thing. All the songs all the lip sync songs this season were terrible.
There were a couple good ones, and then obviously the spoken one.
No. None.
There was a couple, but
there were a couple good ones.
But overall, I agree. Like there wasn't anything that was like super standout. That like for me, the only thing that was super standout was the spoken word.
The spoken word one, yeah.
And who won that?
Monet won
that.
What were your thoughts on the last episode, Landon?
So y'all just ruined it for me because I didn't see it.
Oh, let's see. You should have spoke up sooner.
No, but let me.
And
I'm okay with that.
Put it in the notes before.
So did
I didn't because I was okay because I knew that we were going to talk about it. So I already knew who won and I'd already seen some of the reviews, but and I'm okay with like us talking about it, obviously. But I already had low expectations from what I saw online, so none of this is surprising. It's more, if anything, it's validating knowing that what I saw online is 1000% legit. And what really grinds my gears about this is that we've got a Drag Race All-Stars with some really, and I'm not saying Jinkx wasn't good. I'm not saying that.
Oh, but Jinkx is great.
Jinkx is great. Jinkx is great. I just think that she just never did it for me. And I know that it's based upon a whole bunch of other things, but like Monet and Shay are just
Shay's a pop star to me. Shay is a fucking pop star.
That performance that she did when they did their talent show the episode prior.
Yeah.
I was like, I'd watch that video.
Outside of Monet, outside of Monet, outside of Monet, that was a stellar, professional, like that. I would pay money to have seen
1000%.
that in concert versus everybody else's.
And I'll even say with Shade with the last lip sync, she knew the whole Judas routine because I was back there doing it with her. I was like, oh shit, you know that? I was like, oh shit. But what was her downfall is you didn't engage with anyone. You wanted to show that you could do choreography. You got to at least walk across that stage on the road, engage with Rue right quick, engage with Michelle. You know, you got to play the game of it. Because if I was in a show, if I went to see her live, I'd be like, bitch, you ain't come out and give me my money. You ain't, like, I'm holding money for you. Like, engage with the crowd, engage with me. Then we get hyped with you knowing the whole damn routine. So that was her downfall. It was still 8. Who did she go against on that one? Raja up.
Raja.
Yeah, she ate Raja up still, but that was the only downfall. I was like, and they wanted Raja to win. I just wasn't feeling
like Jinkx did a better job than anybody else.
Oh, really?
Overall, or within this episode?
Within the entire overall. Not saying that her game wasn't. That's just me.
I think she did.
I don't know her.
I don't know her. She had a couple moments that I'm like, okay, we're gonna reference this in 5 years, 10 years.
I'm not surprised. Maybe it's just because I'm a Monet. Yeah, maybe it's just because I'm a big Monet stan, just like Dawon. Like, I'm just like, man, every time I see her, I'm just dazzled, and I'm impressed by Jinkx, but I'm not dazzled. I'm not like, ooh, yes, girl. She just doesn't do it for me. I don't know why, but
I slept on Jinkx at the beginning of the season because I think and maybe if I had the time, go back and replay what our predictions were. But I think I said, I don't know if Jinkx is just too out of practice of the drag race. So I was like, it might like come and bite her. Did not see some of the iconic moments that she had this season at all. So that one shocked me. Yeah. And I think I even said Monet, like I love Monet, but I was like against like a Shay and I was even say Evie might slip in there. And my predictions at the beginning was kind of completely wrong. I don't think I had anyone. I think I might have said Trinity. And Trinity might have been the most consistent throughout the season. She might not have had too many ups, too many downs. Hers might have been like a very consistent thing. Jinkx won like fucking 5 episodes. Yeah. 4 or 5, 5 and like was blocked on one. So I mean like,
yeah.
Can't deny that one. And then Monet. And so like, I'm glad it was Jinkx and Monet at the end. If it wasn't going to be Monet, I wanted Shay in there, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like the finale episode was probably the worst episode out of
the whole season,
all of the seasons, and I would say worst meaning it was probably a 7. So that's still pretty good.
Good, right?
You know, like, in the span of things, like given the fact that a finale episode is supposed to be bigger, having a 7 is disappointing. But in the grand scheme of all of the episodes, I feel like this was probably my least favorite of the episodes. In part because of how things shook out, but the other part was the song choices that they had to pick from. Horrible.
I don't know what happened in the music division where maybe they couldn't get the songs that they wanted, or they had other ones and then they fell through at the end. I don't know.
I'm like at this point you should just use RuPaul's music. Damn,
girl, if Ru will find a way to give a performance. That shit cracked me up.
Like come on.
Honey, that was this community.
This
we do some hard. We do some hard lefts on the rights on the show.
Doing dancing, just not doing.
We do some hard lefts on this show, hard rights on this show. That was the hardest transition from that moment to clowns.
Right.
I was like, who wrote this episode? Like, that is weird. And then I was like, Ru got to get up there and perform.
I feel like Ru and Michelle be doing like fucking mushrooms and be like, ooh, this is going to be so hyphy.
But you know what?
They be sending over to their little PAs and be like, make this shit happen. And then forget about it.
Let us be 60 is to have some variation of Minority Report. Maybe it's like some bitch, we going to get ourselves on the show too. We going to do a moment.
We going to do that.
So I was like, you know what,
episode 176?
Bitch, shit. Like, I was like, you know what, at first I was laughing, but I was like, you know what, if that was me and it was my own damn show, bitch, yeah, I'm getting up there and doing the routine. I don't give a damn. It say RuPaul's Drag Race, ho.
I don't understand why she doesn't get taller. I don't understand why she doesn't get like taller backup dancers for herself, because she always looks gigantic.
Because she'd be like 7 foot in them heels.
Right.
She looked great though.
Oh, that outfit that she came out. Woo!
Mother.
Yeah.
Mother.
There was some tea that was spilled online. You guys can go out there and find it. There was a big fight between Michelle and Raja.
Oh, I did hear about that. Yeah.
And so there's Trinity is at some club, I think, in either Texas or Miami or somewhere, and she's spilling the whole tea, talking about that. So y'all go out there and find that.
I love that.
But yeah, that's. And she also confirmed that they actually did provide negative critiques,
and I'm glad you remember. I wanted to tell you that. Yeah,
but they edited it out for some reason. They decided to edit out the negative critiques and only keep the positives in, which I think does a little bit of a disservice, because it doesn't show you what are they also working on.
You know, I thought that for a while, but then I was like, you know what? And I think I said this a few episodes again. Rue is just such a master of branding that she's like, okay, if I'm going to have it be the legends, like the legendary legend stars, I'm going to put the positive out there so they can get these coins. You're still going to get the critiques that you need to get in person, and it's going to be between y'all 8. Figure that shit out. But for us to see, I'm going to make sure y'all good after this show to get to another level. Right, wrong, for indifferent. Because I agree, it would be entertaining for the viewer to be like, okay, what these bitches still got to work on and see the trajectory to see if they improved. But I guarantee that was probably a Rue call saying, you know what, hold on, no. We ain't going to fuck up their brand. Saying, because, you know, stuff like that will take root in the crazy stands out there and be like, we ain't going to go see Raja because Rue said this or that because she wear her gray hair too much and and I agree, so I ain't paying no money to see Raja no more. Like, bitches be crazy out here in this drag.
Yo, I'm reading about it. I have no words.
Raja said,
I want to see it. I want to see the damn. I want to see it.
I want the receipts. I want the receipts.
You said, how you gonna critique me when you just the best friend of the host?
She said, who are you to judge me? You have no credentials other than being the host's best friend. Oh, bitch.
Yeah, it was about time somebody read Michelle, though. I like Michelle. That's kind of been brewing for a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
And again, coming from Raja too, like Raja's like an icon out in the drag universe, so bitches probably happy it was Raja that said it.
And what Trinity said was that it wasn't like it was just coming out, and it wasn't like it was like some random critique or whatever. She said that, well, Michelle did actually try to come for her. Yeah. So, because sometimes that should be happening. Yeah. But Raja said, not today, not in this house, and not on the Lord's day.
Period. Because Raja was like, I ain't got shit to lose. This is going to be my last time.
Right.
What episode? Was it Untucked or maybe it was like something on YouTube? I forget, where she was like, do you want to come back? No! I don't want to come back.
I think it was a confessional. Not even a talk. Yeah.
I was like, I know that's right, Raja. So Dawon, do you agree that Jinkx should have won? For the whole season?
If we're basing it on the whole season, then yes.
Yeah.
But I also feel like the first set of challenges were all kind of like acting challenges, which set Jinkx up to win anyway.
Yeah. 100%.
Because those played to her strengths. And, so by the time that she was, she had established herself as a front runner, she was getting blocked and then when she was getting blocked on challenges she wouldn't do good in anyway.
Yeah, it did play in her favor. They blocked her on the wrong time.
So I feel like
they wouldn't have known that though.
Exactly. I
think the bigger question is, and I'll kick this back to you all, is now that we have this format out here, which was vastly different than other All-Stars in the past, which was more elimination style, kind of, etc. Would you like to see something like this in terms of formatting again, or would you like to switch it up
for All-Stars, not for a regular ass season?
Yeah, for All-Stars,
right? Yeah. For All-Stars, for sure.
I think it would be cool for an All-Stars because I do like it specifically for legendary legend stars to not get eliminated because you get to see their whole collective and they're spending some coin to show their whole creativity.
Yeah.
For an all-star season, I almost think it's like, okay, you get to last for like 2 or 3 episodes and we're doing mass cuts. Be like 3 of y'all bitches gone this week. Yes, you were here for the last 6 weeks, but halfway through, we cut in half the cast. And that way, it still allows you to see at least a couple episodes of them just to see where their mind has evolved since their original season or seasons. But then you got to still stay on it because we know we're about to cut 6 of y'all hoes and stay on the game. So I think something like that. I don't know if I want to see an all-star season outside of a winners where they all stay the whole season. I still kind of like some part of that competition piece of it.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And they didn't do what we predicted of stealing stars or anything like that, but I still think they might put that in their back pocket for it.
I hope they do. I
like the 2 stars thing that they did where you could get 2 stars and then give 1 away. I did like that.
Yeah. So
I like the star stealing. I would love to have seen that interjected.
That is it for the drag race.
Because I feel like by the time they introduced the 2 stars, and then there was nothing for a couple of weeks, and then it was the one before the final, you get 3 stars.
And I don't know if I kind of like the 3 stars that late.
No, not at all.
Because they set it up because they knew Shay was going to come in. They knew.
Right. That's it.
And I love Shay, so I was glad she did, but I was like, ooh, that kind of set her up. Okay, quick question too. Who got robbed? Besides maybe Monet, but like the rest of the cast, who got robbed?
I would say Shay, because I feel like there were a couple of episodes where she was clearly the winner of that episode and she didn't get it. So for me, like there were others that like won that aligned with their performance. I feel like Shay's, if I'm looking at who outperformed but didn't get recognized for their outperforming, in my opinion, that the most out of the cast, Shay.
Yeah. Who you thinking, Landon?
I would say a mix between Shay and only Raja a little bit, because I feel like she had some, and I know it's not all based on looks, but she had some looks that she just did not get credit for. And it was like super frustrating. Yeah.
Even this last one.
Yeah. So
alien look, I was like,
maybe it wouldn't have gotten her past the finish line, but at least it would have gotten her a little bit closer. Again, going to credit and just recognition. I'm like, damn, like some of these looks are fucking fire, in my opinion, and I'm just like, damn, like she didn't get that far because of, she just didn't get that far with that look.
Showed I am still the true fashion queen. Thank you very much. Y'all hoes can't. Who do I think? Initially, I was thinking like a Shay or even Jada could have been mad because Jada was there and until the three stars. It's like, bitch, I just got kicked out the top. But
she also got donated a star.
She did get donated 1 star. But who's the British girl again?
The Vivian.
The Vivian. She could have felt a kind of way because she's the one that probably got blocked at unopportune times for herself. She's the one that got the game went against her the most.
Yes,
because she spoke up that one episode. She said, "Oh, Jinkx, I would block." If she wouldn't have said that, she probably would have been in the end.
Yep. She probably would have been one of the front runners.
Yep. She fucked her own blessing up. See,
she fucked it, but that's all right. It was
joined to your life. You ain't inferior. Well, okay, we had other stuff on this list, but we're at 1:20, so we're gonna say these for next week. You got one more comment, Landon? What's up?
You see what Jerrell text? He sent this picture. He said, Beyoncé really went out and made an album. That means we don't have to ever listen to Todrick Hall, nails, hairs, hips, heels ever again. Thank you, Queen.
Oh no! Don't do that to Todrick.
You know what? It should have said R.I.P. at the end of that sentence.
see. Okay, Dion. And on that note, wash your hands, wash your legs, wash your ass. We'll see you next week.
Bye guys. Bye.
R.I.P. at the end. Damn, they did time. They always do time to grimy.
Girl.
He said the way I just can't. Oh, gee, that's true though, because that was like the only gay song it felt like for the last.
It really
5
was.
years.
It really is.
Oh God.
It's straight up facts.
And they use that song on every guy.
Everything.
He got coins off of that one. Good for you, Tanya. He got some.
And you know, we did a COVID one too. So it's just like,
Right.
I'm just like, damn, bitch.
He said, "I'm gonna pimp this song all the way out."